Project 1. Install Pi-hole on a Raspberry Pi. You can install Pi-hole on a Raspberry Pi 2, 3 or 4. I'm going to start the install on a Raspberry Pi that has the standard operating system installed and set it up as a desktop computer. First of all, open up a terminal window. The install is fairly straightforward with just one command. I'll put the link to this in the description below. Type this in and enter return to start the install. Just follow the steps through the install and choose the defaults. Click OK. Choose OK. I choose OpenDNS at this point. Click OK. Click OK. OK again. Just click yes for whatever IP address it's going to be. Click OK. We want the web interface, yes, that's OK. As a web server, yes, OK. And we want to log all queries. Make a note of the administration password for logging in and open up a terminal window. Type in the command for changing the password, which is sudo pi-hole -a-p and change the password. We're now going to log into the local host on the Raspberry Pi. So open up a web page and type in localhost. Click on the blue link to go to the admin panel. This is the standard screen on the web panel. We need to log in to make adjustments. We're now going to set a static IP address for the Raspberry Pi. Open up a terminal window. Type in sudo nano /etc/dhcpcd.conf. Scroll to the bottom until you find the settings for the static IP address. We need to remove the hash symbol for the last 3 entries on this tab. I set mine to 192.168.1.14 for the Raspberry Pi. Need to save that information. Then sudo reboot for the changes to take effect. I'm just going to check the IP address is correct. Open up a terminal window and type ifconfig and check the IP address is assigned to the Raspberry Pi. And there it is. I'm now going to log into my router and set the DNS for the house and the local network. Now you can see at the moment the primary DNS and secondary DNS are blank. That's because the router is getting the settings from the ISP. So we're going to manually set these to the Raspberry Pi and set them both to 192.168.1.14. Let's log back into the router and set a reservation for the Raspberry Pi so that it gets the same IP address every time. If we add a new address reservation and do a scan, I can find that the Raspberry Pi is there, and we'll simply add that as a reservation and save it. At this point the installation is complete. The keyboard, mouse, HDMI cable can all be disconnected. The Pi can be used as a headless installation and you can communicate with the Raspberry Pi through a web browser. I type the IP address in now, 192.168.1.14, and click the link for the Red Hat admin panel. And log in again as before. We can check the query log and see what's happening on the network, see what sites are being accessed. And in the blacklist, there's no sites being blocked at the moment. As a test, I'm going to block Twitter and see how easy it is to block a domain site. First of all, I'm going to check that Twitter works on the local network. So in the blacklist, I'm going to add twitter.com as a domain and add the domain as a wildcard and add that to the blacklist. And you should see some new entries, red entries, where Twitter is being blocked. And at some point you will also need to clear the cache on your browser. So we can see something's happening now, so it's not getting the full information, but it's still trying to get through to Twitter. At this stage you can check the query log and see what other sites are being accessed. And that seems to have done the trick. Okay, let's check the blacklist and see what sites are being blocked. And there from 3 sites, or 3 domain entries, Twitter's being blocked, and this can be done with other websites as well.